for the league for putting on this event. Thank the media for being here. It's been a lot of work that's gone on by a lot of people, not hockey related, such as yourself, such as Don Lucia and the entire league staff, officiating crew, getting everything ready, administrators certainly for taking the big step to get us to this point. I think that there's been an upgrade for sure in the exposure of the league, and that's I think that's a real credit. Everything is the detail, the attention to detail has been great. The promotion of the league has been great, and now it's time for us to get on and perform and promote the league ourselves. Regarding that, I think that you saw a little bit of a preview as to what we'll have this year as a league. Last year, with the two Alaska teams being out, with Huntsville being in, it condensed it down to an 8-team league and gave us a good look. You put St. Thomas in, who's going to be immediately impactful, I'm sure, with Rico Blase, a tremendous coach behind the bench. And you put them in place of Alabama Huntsville, and you look at basically the league that we're going to have this year. In that league was prepared our teams to compete well in the national tournament. You saw a great performance, great effort by Bemidji. You saw wins by Mankato to get to the Final Four. And you saw Lake Superior play a good game. They generated a lot of offense against UMass, who was the eventual national champion. So I think our strength of schedule will accomplish what the goal was, I believe, by the administrators, upping the bar, trying to get ourselves, we know what we have from within, but get ourselves respected from around and make sure that the pairwise, our strength of schedule and things within the league allows teams an opportunity to get to the national tournament. And that's really what I think the move was about. Quickly regarding our team, we return a lot, as everybody does, as Ernie said earlier. I thought we had a really good hockey team last year. Everything with except one dynamic, which was scoring goals. We were able to do it on the power play. We had a great power play, somewhere around 29% in the league. Our penalty kill was up nationally. Our special teams were very good. 5-on-5 scoring, has to improve. And that's our biggest area that we had to address. And I think we did that in the offseason in the areas we needed to most address, which was the center ice position and replacing one really good player on defense, Tyler Rockwell, who logged a lot of minutes for us. I think we did that through the transfer portal, through recruiting, and in different areas. And we return our goaltending, which I think is tremendous. And I think that showed last year. We returned our defensive core with a couple of key additions to that core. Michael Carroll is transferred from BC. He's immediately elevating himself into a leadership role on our team. You can see his poise, you can see his maturity, his character. I think Grant Doctor is going to be a significant player for us. He's showing in what little we can have with him right now that he's going to be able to come in and impact for us and help us offensively in different areas. And probably maybe the most since we've had Mitch Renke, since we lost Mitch Renke a couple years ago, signing after his sophomore year, having that type of player, dynamic offensively. And at forward position, we return some very good players that generate a lot of offense and will need to take a step in scoring goals. Obviously with Trenton Bliss and Alex Bretzman being our captains and our leadership and a great character base below them. And the addition of Tyrone Bronte from Alabama Huntsville as a transfer, that gives us, I think, what we need to do, the little things that we need to do to get more competitive game in and game out at the offensive side, puck possession side, second chance side offensively. And then we added Matt Quersha, a big size strength forward from Boston University, which will help us. So that's a bit of a rundown on our team. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here. We're excited to get going. As everybody is, we're excited to get going and be able to expand our hours with our group and things like that to get ready to play. Before someone asks, we do have an exhibition game against Northern Michigan. We're going to treat that maybe a little differently than Ernie's treating his game with North Dakota. For us, it's going to be playing a lot of players and getting a good evaluation opportunity in to really see what we have, because we're finally at the point where freshmen have to be good to get in our lineup. And it's been a long process, a lot of work to get there, but that's the way the good teams are, where you have some really good freshmen out of the lineup, and then our job is to get them to buy into what we're doing, develop, and work themselves and push the competition depth of our team. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions. Be glad to answer any questions.
Great opening statement, Joe. And again, sorry to be repetitive, but media, they are coming and going throughout. So if you do have a question for Joe, please utilize the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom window. And once it's your turn, please remember to unmute yourself, state your name and your affiliation before your question. Dave Ellis.
Hey, Joe, Dave Ellis from TV6 and Fox UP in Marquette. Ron Mason always used to say his best teams were the ones that were player-led. With all the veteran leadership that you have on this team, how much can you let this team be a player-led team?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for the question. It's good to hear your voice. I think you know me well enough and how we operate here that's always the goal. The goal is to as a staff, move in the background and implement decisions and let the team monitor the team. I always say that the most important meeting is the meeting that occurs after I walk out of the room. The message is sent to the group, and I'm more than confident. This group of seniors right now have been really the backbone of our program since the day they walked in as freshmen. So very confident that the right message is being sent to the team. The work ethic so far and through the summer has been outstanding. Thanks for the question.
Dirk.
Coach, you talked a lot about needing to get better at the center position. Do you feel like you've done that coming into this season?
I do. Again, with the addition of Tyrone Bronte, he's an all-league player from last year, an all-league, all-rookie team player last year. Matt Quersha has given us a dynamic in the little we've been able to see him so far that I really like. As you know, I like a little bit of size and strength up front, and now we have plenty of size and strength up front. We wanted to improve our overall speed. We've done that. I think it gives us an opportunity with the additions and the depth at center now, which last year, as you know, we moved Justin Misiak off the wing to the center for the first time in maybe his life playing center, except back in minor hockey. And he did an exceptional job for us, but our production offensively out of the center ice position needed to improve drastically. So we can now get the energy of Justin Misiak back on the wing, back as an F1 type of a guy, getting in there, doing what he does best, and playing, a gritty kind of a game and not reading so much. So I do think we've addressed that, and I look for that to be a strength of our team.
Anthony, College Hockey News.
Morning, Coach. You mentioned the need for more 5-on-5 scoring this season, and you addressed it a little bit, with some new blood coming in. How do you take, those guys that are coming in and combine them with what you already have to make sure, once you are on the ice, that 5-on-5 scoring is improved?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. It's, where you look for chemistry with new bodies, but there won't be a ton of new bodies. So we kind of have an idea, I think, of what some of our key offensive performers need. If you look at last year, if you have any awareness of our team, we picked up a player at Christmas time off the portal from RPI, Tristan Ashbrook. He's a scorer naturally, and he came in and nearly got double digits in goals in the second half with a couple of goals disallowed. So we do feel we have some natural scorers that need to get themselves more in their role. You have a couple players on our team, Hallinan, Bretzman. Those guys are trigger guys. They're guys that need to get the puck and need to play with some guys that can draw attention, and so they can find some openings and pull the trigger. They'll score goals that way. They do it on the power play, and they'll do that more 5-on-5 with some players with them that could complement them. And there'll be some emergence of some young guys. I think Rylan Mosley is a tremendous player that's showing great growth with him. Parker Strutsky looks like he's ready to really break out and become the player that we've always felt he could be. And he may play some center ice for us this year as well to even add to our depth. He's maybe the smartest overall player, the highest IQ we have on our team. We certainly have some smart players, but he's certainly up there. And we've been trying to work with him on getting his size, strength level up and things like that. So we look for a breakout year out of him, which will give us great offensive instincts coming through the middle as well. So we think it's got to generate more out of that position than out of the wing where it's been generating. So we think we've addressed what we need to address. And we certainly created chances last year, but oftentimes it was the wrong guy getting the chance. And we want to make sure we do our best to get the right guy in the right spot with the puck on his stick.
Dave Dennis?
Hi, Joe. Dave Dennis, 100.3 The Point in Marquette. For you and for all the coaches, this time is kind of a unique one with your roster basically getting another year of eligibility should they choose to take it. And players now kind of have a one-time free agency at their option as well. What kind of unique challenges does that present, both in shifting the recruiting and working to retain players through the course of their time?
Yeah, great question. Hi, Dave. It's great to hear your voice. We've chosen to do a couple of different things. I chose this year with having the two players come back. We chose to have two players come back, very good players in Mark Sinclair, goaltender, and Justin Misiak, great players that'll impact our team. And outside of that, I chose to expand the roster with a couple of transfer portal, three transfer portal players in total, for a couple of reasons. For the safety of our team, as far as the COVID protocols, not knowing what's going to happen, and with the changing dynamic of this college, free agency, for lack of a better term, in that I feel it may be better in our best interest to develop from within and not rely. I'm much more comfortable this year returning depth at every position, returning a team that you could put on the ice and play at any given, without even recruiting anybody. And that those jobs have to be taken by freshmen instead of where we were 4 years ago when we brought in a very good freshman class and relied on them to carry the weight. That created, it creates the problems that you're talking about. So when guys are developing from within, growing, elevating themselves in the lineup, you're investing in them. We're hoping with the great community that we're in, the great school we have, when these guys can finally, some of these guys see the crowds that we have, the enthusiasm, the game environment that we have, that we can keep these guys around and develop our guys from within and elevate guys in our lineup. And really, if you look at it in a lot of ways, Mankato's done that very well. They've retained their players, the ones that they wanted. And it's been hard for some really good players to get in the lineup. And that, I'm using them as an example, but that's what great teams do, great programs, is they create that competition and the cream rises to the top. Thanks, Dave.
We have more questions coming in, but we do have to move on. I apologize, guys, as it's now Coach Bob Daniels at Ferris State's session. Joe, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for all you do, Dom.